ሰላም ሰላም ውድ የዩቲዩብ ቻናል ቤተሰቦች እንዴት ናችሁ? እኔ ደህና ነኝ። ዛሬ ደግሞ በሌላ ቪዲዮ ተመልሻለሁ። So in the previous video we have seen already about for loop. So today we will discuss about while loop and while loop. So while loop and for loop both are what? Iteration statements. That means for example if we have certain statements, so in order to execute those statements repeatedly then we have to use what iteration statements either for loop or while loop or do while loop ማለት ነው። so ስለ for loop የባለፈው ቪዲዮ ላይ ስለሰራን ዲስክሪፕሽን ቦክስ ላይ አስቀምጥላችኋለሁ። so እዛ ላይ ተመልሳችሁ ማየት ይቻላል። so ዛሬ የምናየው ምንድነው ስለ while loop and while loop ይሆናል ማለት ነው። so while loop and while loop both are used for what executing block of codes or block of statements or certain statements repeatedly until the given condition is what is false ማለት ነው። የተሰጠን ኮንዲሽን ፎልስ እስከሚሆን ድረስ ስቴትመንቶቻቸውን ያደርጋሉ ማለት ነው። ኦር ስቴትመንቱ ኤክስኪዩት ያደርጋል ማለት ነው። ሪፒትድሊ ኤክስኪዩት ያደርጋል ማለት ነው። ኢን ቦዝ while loop and while loops ማለት ነው። so for example when you see while loop, so we have condition when the condition is checked before executing the loop body one. That means in the case of while loop the statement, the given statement executed after checking the condition mark. That means condition will be checked first, then if the condition is true, then body of statement will be executed mark. That means the condition is checked before executing the loop body mark. That means the statement ማለት ነው። so statement to execute የሚደረገው መች ነው ማለት ነው? ኮንዲሽናችን ኤክስኪዩት ቼክድ ከተደረገ በኋላ ማለት ነው። so if that the given condition is true, then the body of statement will be executed unless the program will be terminated. That means if the condition is false, then the program will be terminated ማለት ነው። that means out of body, if we have statements out of body, then that condition may be that statement may be execute ማለት ነው after checking the condition. But inside or the local statements will be executed when the condition is true ማለት. That means for example እዚህ ጋር syntax አለ. so while then condition then እዚህ ብራኬት ውስጥ ብራስ ውስጥ ምን አለ ማለት ነው? ኮድ አለን። ኮድ to execute. that means body of statements እንላቸው ማለት ነው። so ይሄ ኮንዲሽን ትሩ ከሆነ this statements will be executed ማለት ነው። but if the condition is false, then the statement will be terminated. That means the program will be terminated ማለት ነው። so in the case of while loop, first we have to check the condition, then if the condition is true, then body of statement will be executed unless the program will be terminated ማለት ነው። so in the case of while loop, first we have to check the condition ማለት ነው. so after that the body of statement will be executed ማለት ነው. so the second one is what? do while loop. so there is a difference between while loop and do while loop. so in the case of while loop, at least one statement will be executed before checking the condition ማለት ነው. but in the case of while loop, first we have to check condition. If the condition is true, then the body of statement will be executed. But in the case of the while loop, at least one statement will be executed before checking the condition. That means the condition is checked after executing the loop body. That means if we have one statement, then that statement will be executed. If we have two or three, that depends on the condition, but at least one statement will be executed before checking the condition. so for example when you see syntax, do, we have do here, then body of statements we have here, then while, then condition here. so then statement, the program always execute line by line. First this line will be check. Then if we have statements over here, then those statements is executed before checking the condition, because the condition is out of what? Out of this body ማለት ነው። so sequentially ስለሚያነበው ፕሮግራሙ ማለት ነው። so ስለሚነበው ፕሮግራም then ይሄ ኮንዲሽን ቼክ ከመደረጉ በፊት እዚህ ውስጥ ያሉ ስቴትመንቶች ምን ይደረጋሉ ማለት ነው? ኤክስኪዩት ይደረጋሉ። one statement maybe ሊኖርን ይችላል or ሁለት or ሶስት or ደግሞ እዛም በላይ statements ሊኖር generally in the case of do while loop at least one statement will be executed before checking what? Before checking the condition. But in the case of while loop, first we have to check the condition. If the condition is true, then the statement will be executed. But in the case of do while loop, the condition will be checked after executing the body of statements. That means your body of statement first executed ይደረጋል, then at least one statement execute ይደረጋል, then ከዛም በኋላ ነው ኮንዲሽናችን ቼክ ሊደረግ የሚችለው። then ኮንዲሽኑ ጥሩ ከሆነ አሁንም አጌን ይመለስና body of statement will be execute ይደረጋል until the condition is false ማለት ነው። okay, now we have to see about the feature of the iteration statement. That means while loop, do while loop ማለት ነው። when you see the check condition feature in the case of while loop, before the loop body execution, that means when the condition is checked before executing the loop body. So first we have to check the condition, then if the condition is true, then body of statement will be execute ማለት. But in the case of do while loop, after executing the body of statements, that means after at least one statement executed before checking the condition. That means እዚህ ጋር መጀመሪያ ነው ኮንዲሽናችን ቼክ የሚደረገው, and condition true ከሆነ body of statement will be checked. That means before checking the condition, the body of statement will be after checking the condition, then body of statement will be executed. But እዚህ ጋር execute የሚደረገው ምንድነው? before checking the condition. That means condition check የሚደረገው መች ነው? after executing at least one statement ማለት ነው። at least one body of statement execute before checking the condition. That means execute እዚህ ጋር ኮንዲሽናችን ቼክ የሚደረገው መች ነው? after executing at least one body of statement ማለት ነው። okay, the another one, execute at least once. Execute at least once. In the case of while loop, we don't have guarantee because the condition is checked before checking the condition. That means the body of statement will be executed before checking the condition. If the condition is true, then we have a guarantee. If the condition is false, we don't have a guarantee. That means always in the case of while loop, the first we have to check the condition. If the condition is true, then body of statement will be maybe at least once or twice or three times. But in the case of do while loop, execute at least once. That means before checking the condition, then we have to execute at least one time. In the case of do while loop, always one statement will be execute before checking the condition. Then ከዛም በኋላ depend on the condition, then the body of statement will be execute iteratively ማለት ነው። okay, common usageአቸውን ስናይ in the case of while loop, when pre-checked is needed ማለት ነው። pre-checked, that means when we have to check the condition, then we can use this while loop ማለት. that means pre-checked means conditionአችን first check ይደረጋል ማለት ነው። it's clear? And then another one, in the case of do while loop, when one execution required, that means execution, that means body of statement is required, because in the case of do while loop, the condition will be checked after executing statements for singleton, that means for one time. So this is all about while loop and while loop. So next በሌላ ቪዲዮ እንገናኛለን። እስከዛው ሰላም ቆዩ።